everyone, and welcome to the Week 12 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start in Seattle, and the hurting that the Sounders put on previously undefeated RSL. But the 4-0 scoreline started with a questionable penalty kick in the 40th minute. I think this challenge between Lamar Nagel and Aaron Mond is actually shoulder to shoulder. You can see both of them lean into each other, and Mond is simply stronger on the play. Referee Ricardo Salazar calls the foul. Now, RSL fans had another argument on this play because they say moments before, RSL keeper Jeff Attinella was in possession of the ball when Nagel pokes it loose. But I'm not buying it. That doesn't look like he has possession to me. One other play to review from this one. Nagel wanted another penalty a little earlier in the 25th minute, but RSL's Cole Grossman cleanly beats him to the ball in the box. No call was the right decision here by the referee. Next, there were two PK situations at Toyota Park, and both featured Chicago Fire forward Quincy Amarikwa. First, in the 56th minute, Amarikwa really wants to get to this ball in the box, but he can't go through Robbie Rogers to do it. And he takes a tumble. No PK, and Hilario Grajeda is correct not to call it. Then, 10 minutes later, Amarikwa goes down in the box again, and there's definitely a foul here committed by LA's Juninho. Except the point of impact occurs outside the box, right here. Grajeda instead spots it in the box, and Jeff Larentowicz converts the penalty. It was a much easier PK call in Toronto, where Columbus defender Tyson Wall just pulls back Jermaine Defoe in the 20th minute. You do that in the box, and you get called for a penalty, which Defoe himself takes here. But I'll also submit this to you. If Defoe doesn't fall, and I'm not sure that tug is enough to actually make you fall to the ground, does he still get the penalty call? One more play from BMO Field. It's the 80th minute, and look at this challenge between the Crew's Justin Merrim and Toronto's Kyle Becker, who's sliding in. Look at how Merrim's right studs go into Becker's knee with the ball long gone. Although I don't think there's anything Merrim could have done about stepping on Becker's ankle, that stomp to the knee is very suspect to me. I would have gone to the back pocket on that one, but referee Soren Stoica doesn't even issue a yellow. Instead, it's Becker who gets the caution for dissent. Another challenge I thought was worthy of a red card came in the 8th minute in Colorado. Look at how Nick LaBroca pumps his leg into Houston's Omar Cummings. Studs up. The way LaBroca goes into that, I think endangers the safety of his opponent, grounds for an ejection. Next, let's go to the videotape for the Rapids' second goal scored by Deshaun Brown. It was close, but with the help of a freeze frame, we see that Brown is ahead of the last defender on the pass by Dylan Powers. But assistant referee Scott Kaczmarek doesn't flag it. You've got to think someone will have flagged the simulation by Montreal's Hassoun Kamara to the MLS Disciplinary Committee. You can see here how Revs forward Teal Bunbury actually jumps out of the way to avoid contact, but Kamara was already going down. I think referee Silvio Petrescu was duped and issues the yellow to Bunbury, who, needless to say, is stunned. Let's dabble into some lip reading here. I didn't even touch him. For some legit contact at Stade Saputo, we go to the impact penalty area in the 80th minute. Look at how Carl Ouimet clips Andrew Farrell on this run into the box. I know it looks like Farrell is dragging his right leg, but he doesn't even need to because Ouimet gets him good. That should have been a penalty to me. Instead, Petrescu gives a goal kick. DC's Eddie Johnson wanted a penalty at RFK Stadium in the 51st minute, but I don't see a foul here by Eric Palmer-Brown. Good no call by referee Jorge Gonzalez, who also had to deal with this meltdown by Fabiano Spindola after he felt he was elbowed in the face by Sporting KC right back Igor Juliao. Really, it's a stray arm worthy of a yellow, but nothing more. And then, in the heat of the moment, check out the shove that Espindola lays on Benny Feilhaber, and he gets a yellow for it. Now, I expect to see that one covered in a little more detail on Not So Instant Replay. What? You don't know what I'm talking about? Check out episode 5 of the Benny Feilhaber Show to find out.
I'm Benny Feilhaber, and I don't know why I'm yelling.
Now, Espindola does get his revenge on Juliao after the final whistle has already blown. You know how? Giving him a whiff of his underarms exposed in victory. Needless to say, that didn't go down too well. Moving to Dallas, where we have plenty to look at. First, there's this 19th minute studs-up tackle by Zach Lloyd on Kari Stevenson. Like the LaBroca one before, that's endangering the safety of your opponent. But Lloyd doesn't even get a yellow from referee Jose Carlos Rivero. The man in the middle did issue a red card in the first half to Dallas midfielder Adam Moffat. He got a first yellow for persistent infringement on San Jose's Yannick Jallo, who was brought down 5 times in this game. And then his second foul on Jallo earned Moffat a second yellow. 2 fouls, 2 yellows for Moffat, and his night was done 8 minutes before halftime. Wait right there, we're not even done with the first half in Frisco. In the 27th minute, the Earthquakes get on the board through Atiba Harris, but the player who sets him up for the shot commits a handball to me. That's Steven Lenhart with his left arm extended, setting up the ball perfectly for the pass. The ref didn't see it the same way, and the goal stood. Then, just before halftime, FC Dallas earned a penalty when Fabian Castillo was brought down by Jordan Stewart. Clear foul to me, but Castillo doesn't take advantage. That's John Bush coming up with the big save. It wasn't that kind of day for Chivas USA goalkeeper Dan Kennedy. He gets called for an indirect kick in the box for infringing on the 6-second rule. By our count, the whistle blew 13 seconds after he grabs the ball. It's a rare call, but not totally unreasonable by referee Alan Chapman. Why do we highlight this for you? Well, on the ensuing free kick, Kennedy's teammate Martin Rivero is whistled for a handball in the box. Now, from the angles we have, I cannot see whether Rivero extends his arm from his body, but the referee had a better view and calls the penalty, which the Union's Connor Casey buries. But the nightmare continued for Kennedy in the second half. It's the 77th minute, and Cristian El Chaco Maidana scores the Union's third goal. But his Philly teammate Andrew Ranger is clearly in an offside position on the shot, and he's not only in Kennedy's line of sight, but he's also impeding the keeper from making the save. To me, that goal should not have stood. But it gets worse for Chivas. 7 minutes from time, and Osvaldo Minda gets a straight red card from Chapman, who clearly indicates that he believes there was a kick out by Minda on Maurice Edu. When we look at the replay, Minda's knee may have made contact with Edu, but there is no kick out. Shades of Eddie Johnson from last week. That suspension got rescinded by the independent review panel. Will Chivas USA also attempt the appeal? And lastly, we end up in Portland for a wild Cascadia match that finished 4-3 for the visitors. And the Whitecaps capitalized on 2 penalty kicks called in their favor. They were both legit. First, Diego Chara clearly clips Eric Hurtado in the box, and then, 10 minutes later, there are actually 2 fouls committed in the box by the Timbers. Here and here. No-brainer there as well, and Pedro Morales puts away both spot kicks. Now, the Timbers say, what about us? How come no penalties for us? Well, let's look at their claims. First, in the 7th minute, Darlington Nagbe and Jay Demerit collide in the box after Nagbe dishes this pass. I don't see a foul there. That's just 2 players coming together for me. No call was the right call. Fast forward to the 31st minute, and you see Vancouver's Matias Laba beating Diego Valeri to this ball in the box. Valeri kicks up a whole lot of rubber, but there's no foul there either. Then in stoppage time, you see Nagbe go down trying to draw the penalty, but it was actually the Timbers player fouling his former Akron teammate Darren Maddox, who wriggles his arm free from Nagbe's grasp. Bottom line, another good day at the office for Mr. Kevin Stott. But whatever controversial decisions have you hot and bothered today, let's all crack a smile, courtesy of Vancouver's Sebastian Fernandez. He and Paca are wrestling for the ball, and at one point, Fernandez gets clever on us and goes down after whacking his own face. That's a whole new category of simulation. But Fernandez gets a yellow for delaying the restart and not for simulation, which means the disciplinary committee could probably give it a second look. Question is, can they do it with a straight face? That's all we have for this week. For our editor, John Benton, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time.
That's all we have for this week. I'm Benny Feilhaber, and I'm still yelling. See you next time.